Hi, Scott Orlin with Cinema-Magazin. As you can see, Sundance Film Festival 2021, and I'm here with one of the filmmakers who has her movie there, How It Ends, Zoe Lister-Jones. Not only the director, the writer, the producer, and the star, so congratulations. What does a film festival like Sundance mean to you?
Um, I think it's such an incredible space to showcase um, filmmaking voices from around the world and new voices and veteran voices. And I think it's, yeah, just such an exciting landscape to launch some of the best movies, uh, yeah, in the world, which is just always so much fun to be a part of because it's so inspiring to be surrounded by such incredible filmmakers.
Talking about inspiration, here we are in the middle of a pandemic. What better movie to go see than a story about the end of the earth coming to? How apropos was it? I don't think when you started filming this, or did you actually shoot during the pandemic? Is that part of it, your response to everything that was going on?
Yeah, we conceived of the film, Daryl Ween, my co-director and co-writer, and I, during the pandemic, and we shot during the pandemic. So this is a very pandemic-inspired film through and through. And I think we both were grappling with so many of the emotions that the world at large continues to be grappling with, a lot of the fear and uncertainty, and we felt like we sort of didn't have any choice but to try to process that through our art because that's sort of the only way we know how. And so we conceived of a narrative that could be shot, in these restrictive times, and called a lot of our very talented friends and asked if they wanted to experiment, because for many of us it was our first time performing since lockdown, and we were all in a very vulnerable emotional space. So to sort of get into a comedy that was in some ways mirroring, although it's not about the pandemic itself, but it is apocalyptic. So there was a lot of catharsis, I think, for everybody.
One of those friends that you meet up along your journey through LA with is Olivia Wilde. And I must say, the choreography of your dialogue on top of each other, because I kept switching back and forth, they're all being logical in what they're saying. They're just speaking right on top of each other. How
Mhm.
much in sync did that take to get that to work?
Oh, it happened immediately. I mean, we didn't have any rehearsals. So, and that scene, about half of the film, I don't know, the ratio is sort of tenuous, but like many of the scenes were written in the film. All of Kelly Spaney and my dialogue was written, my scene with Bradley Whitford, my scene with Helen Hunt, but then there were also other scenes like my scene with Olivia that were based out of structured outlines. And so we knew exactly who our characters were and what we were going to be talking about, and even some bits of dialogue, and that we had to be speaking over each other. But a lot of what happened on screen was just like, yeah, the first take of us just going for it.
I thought what a really interesting device that you use in this film is pairing or partnering with your younger self as you kind of go on this journey. And so many of us think like, oh, why did I do this when I was younger? Or if only I would have been able, somebody would have told me not to do this or to follow this path. So if you had the opportunity, even for an hour, to sit with your teenage self, what would be the things that you would tell her?
Well, a lot of those things are in the film because I think this was my way of trying to figure that out. Um, but I think it's all about trying to make our inner children feel heard and safe. And I think a lot of what we do as grown people, or as we are growing, is to try to quiet that voice or ignore the voice of all of our, I don't know, deepest and darkest like fears, and sort of push through. And I think what the pandemic has forced us all to do is to really face them in a way that we haven't before. Um, so yeah, I guess it's about for me, like talking to my inner self in a way that is, or my inner child in a way that is empathetic and gives like her room to to process what she's feeling, rather than me sort of trying to like avoid and find distractions.
On your journey through LA, were these the areas that were comfortable or familiar to you, or did you try and venture out and show different landscapes?
Um, well, we shot all over LA, and all of the places outside of one location I had been to. There was one location that's a dam, like a dam, that I had never been to. That was a really cool place that we sort of explored and found. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a legitimate walking path. You couldn't walk that in a day, because we do cover a lot of ground. But it is, in many ways a love letter to LA, and a time capsule of this surreal moment in LA's history where there were so few cars, on the streets and very few people.
And just a last question for you. I thought one of the elements of the story that kind of resonates is our ability to forgive, our ability to kind of resolve conflicts or things that happen in our lives. And I was wondering, going through this experience as the writer, co-director, everything, did it help you in some of your own dealings with friends or family about, are there issues I need to resolve?
Yeah, I mean, again, like it was such a personal project that I think many of the things I was looking to resolve, I was sort of doing through the work. But yeah, I think, so much of the isolation that we've all experienced in the last 11 months has also sort of forced us to be more connected in this other way. Like I feel like I'm talking to my friends and family in some ways more than I would have otherwise, because I think you do start to appreciate the things that so many of us took for granted in pre-pandemic times. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's such an echo chamber when you have this much time alone to think about the things that you want to be saying to people or that you wished you had said. And so I think that's what this movie is sort of an exploration of.
Well, Zoe, thank you. And I guess this is how the conversation is going to end. Congratulations on Sundance, the movie How It Ends. Zoe Lister-Jones, and this is Scott. Till next time.
Thanks. Bye.